the Havaldar who is at a particular place that you have an ambulance coming along Karve Road towards the signal, and all you need to do is override the signals and manage traffic. You can save millions of lives with a technology which is available today and costs nothing to do. Of course, the moment you roll this out, we are going to say, who's going to register the ambulance drivers and who's going to tell the cops and all of that stuff, but it's all doable, right? So take that as one possibility. The other possibility, look at what we call as a golden record, which is, can I take all our digital interactions and then really create a persona of the citizen? So PMC knows my number, for example, because I've responded to them with my phone number. They know my Twitter ID. And if anybody here follows me on Twitter really and knows my number, you know exactly where I am, and you know exactly what I like, what I do, what I hate. As an example, right now, if Hayat was tracking me, I should have got an SMS saying, hey, after your tiring conference, why don't you drop into our spa and get a massage, right? And I would go. I would definitely go there, spend some money, and they could upsell without a problem. And this is something that, in the industry we do a lot, which is create a golden record of customers and then use it for upselling. But how does that matter in a smart city? Take the first thing that I talked about, which is, my locations, because you have a tie-up with, a Vodafone and an Idea, and you can actually figure out how people are traveling. And you also know my lifestyle, and you know my income group, and you know my, all the demographics you need to know about me. And as a smart city, you can then do a time-space analysis of where are your people in the city, how do they travel, at what point of time do people of what type and what kind of lifestyle from on, where do they travel at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you can actually create patterns. And by the way, in Pune, we are doing a project like that where you're trying to figure out what are not just where you have congestion at a point of time, but you do a time-space analysis and you can actually figure out which roads in Pune carry what kind of traffic at what times of the day. And this can be an amazing input for city planners in terms of where do you put your next BRT. For example, if you know that at least 200 people in the upper income category travel from On to Yeravada around 9 o'clock in the morning, I can put an air-conditioned bus and charge 500 rupees a month or 5,000 rupees a month, and I probably have a bus running full, right? So when we talk about smart cities and applications, I think if you're doing mobile apps, you allow people to consume, pay bills and consume some data. I think we're barely scratching the surface of what's possible. We are looking at IT as a channel for information delivery and a channel for information capture. But we are like I talked about the Pokemon thing yesterday, right? There is just so much information that you can capture, either knowingly, unknowingly, using gamification, using engagement, using loyalty, and so many other ways of doing it, and using social media. So the app is just your front end. The app is just your channel. I think the real fun for smart cities will be when you take this data and use that for decision making. I talked about putting a bus between On and Yeravada in the morning, but also imagine in the police commissioner's office, you're looking at random patterns of people traveling and you're looking at real-time movement of people, and you suddenly see that a lot of people with a shady background seem to be converging at Bund Garden Bridge, right? And it's so easy to do it today because I know your background, I know where you are because I'm tracking your phone numbers. And all I need to do is, as a commissioner, I don't even have to watch that damn screen. I let the computers do the job, and I just let it alert the police station saying, hey, there seems to be an abnormal increase in people connecting together or converging together at Bund Garden Bridge around 9:30 right now, right? And all I need to do is send a cop car and see what's happening and potentially prevent a riot, potentially prevent social trouble. Is it doable? Definitely doable. Is it expensive? Absolutely not. Is it doable in India in today's scenario? Absolutely yes. Why we are not doing it? Again, I don't even think it's not about having the will. I think the Narendra Modi government definitely has the will, probably also the vision. But yes, we are a 1.3 billion country. We are just 60 years from independence, 70 years from independence. America is 4 or 5 times older than us as a democracy. So it will take a little time. Hopefully, the other point we were making yesterday is the rate at which technology is catching up. Sir talked about 20 years for digital money to be prevalent. I would give it not more than 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years before I stop carrying cash. By the way, I don't carry cash anymore. And it's not because people don't take it, but except for my grocery, and my grocery wala anyway gives me a 45-day line of credit, and we settle the bill once in 45 days. But except for my grocery, my taxi is payable by phone. My hotels are credit cards. My movies are all on Book My Show. So again, wallet. Every shopping I do is on the wallet. So the only person I need is for the valet parking, where I give money by cash, and the grocery. And that also if I do my bhaiya ka grocery, not the Reliance Fresh or something. So my point is, I think, yes, we will probably still have some cash. But then you take Jan Dhan accounts, you link it to Aadhaar, and then you say, every time you break a signal, you will never be stopped by the cop, but you will get a notice from your license plate to your Aadhaar, from your Aadhaar to your Jan Dhan or whatever bank account, and you lose your money. There is no question of corruption on the road, because there is just no way a Hawaldar can even stop you. And there's no way you can argue with the Hawaldar or the money or the machine that I was not breaking rules, right? So again, do we have the technology? Absolutely yes. We have the technology right now to do this. Do we have the will? Debatable. That's all I wanted to add. I can go on and on with lots of examples, but just to, since I have the last word on this, yes, I think we have issues. Yes, it makes for good debates about what we should do. But also, I just want to leave one more thought on the table. Yes, I can have apps which are language dependent. Very easy to build apps which work on languages. It's very easy today to do analytics no matter what language you use, because we can support that. It will just take a little time, because I think we need to get started with what we have and roll out faster, then try and do a big framework. And the reason I'm putting this out is, yes, IT companies make a lot of money when you don't have standardization. But on the same time, you need to make sure that you don't spend an inordinate amount of time creating frameworks which are acceptable by one and everybody. The world has not figured out how to use the metric system uniformly, even after like centuries of doing it. We still have got our railway tracks non-standardized. You still have meter gauge and broad gauge and I don't know, whatever gauges that happen. So standardization is a good academic goal to pursue, but in the technology space, sometimes I think if you can interchange properly, then standardization is really not a problem. Yeah. So that's all I had. Open for. She should take most of the questions because she's the academic. But I'm happy to be around and take answers.
Hi. I need to retrieve my credentials, okay? First, let me say the academics are not in conflict with the industry. And, at IMA, if I don't have a client, my institution doesn't allow me to live in that organization. My client has to be the industry or the government or someone. Okay, so everything is driven by that. So while some of us, so many, and I think our role is also to look at the long term. We are not driven by quarterly results. So that is, I think, the role of different entities, okay? Second thing is, I don't think here we are in conflict. I agree with every little thing that you said. That, how traffic signals, or whatever you said, I'm in total agreement. In fact, I love technology. And I love what it can do for me. Uh, and, so I very much appreciate what you said. It made my life. And I'm not a pessimist, even though I put up that. I think my whole idea was, whatever this technology has, and which is listed out very well, can we accelerate it? Can we accelerate the deployment of it? And there I'm with you, that we need to do it faster than what we are doing. And possibly, you said, that no need of standardization. I agree. That's why I said service-oriented architecture. I didn't say, everyone adopt this particular standard. That's not going to happen. We already have so much technology and so much applications. So I'm saying, and I'm not saying every city must have the same standard. I'm saying co-opetition. Take whatever is good for whatever exists, and then see if you can replicate. I'm not even saying that, okay, they have one application, let everyone adopt it. And I think for the industry, it's good, because if they were the ones who provided a particular application, but you're not associated with that city, your application still gets adopted, okay? So that's my model. In the Kumbh Mela, how many people come there on a particular day? Not lakhs, 10 million on some days. This is what at least I'm to. So one. Now, Harvard did a study by tracking their mobiles, how they went, on the proliferation of diseases, because many of them will come with already pre-existing disease conditions, especially infectious diseases, because they are the ones that they will go back to their city and so on. None of us thought of it. None of our medical people, now what they had, I happened to, be in that session where they did it. This was because they had the vision. Now they have the data about this, we don't. It's a sad irony, including us. I'm saying academic institutions, they came as an academic institution, and now they know how in these large aggregations diseases get propagated. And I'm not saying that we as academicians should be let go. I'm saying we are equally culpable, and we all therefore need to work together. So that's my point, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm talking of the Hardwar Kumbh, the one that happened before the Nasik. Yeah. Yeah. So I agree. No, what was done actually, I have data on that. So maybe some other things happened in the Nasik Kumbh. Yeah, I think he had his hand for a long time.
Yeah, me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, please, if you want.
Okay, anyway, I think we'll quickly.
I have few comments on this. First, the way I'll take from not only academicians, academicians, industries, and the government, the policymakers, all the three were put together, to make a more synergic effect on those. Unless they are all very good, and I have interacted with all the three. I'm from the government. I interact with the academicians. I also interact, but they are all working very beautifully in their own sector. But unfortunate part that they are.
I just want to say one thing. I
mean,
love academicians.
We do also love, but anyway, that is the part we should. One thing that the boundary should be cut. Number one. Number two, ma'am, you said that 1 Gbps and 10 Gbps. As I think, from technology perspective, the thickness of the pipe remains the same. Whether you put the 1 Gbps or 10 Gbps, the thickness of the pipe remains the same. Because that is the beauty of the optical fiber. You go on changing the end terminals, you go on changing the terabit to nothing else.
Maybe so what
I think your
the person may not have informed me well.
That's why I'm telling
but what we had not done earlier, in our design was not even provided for the pipe to be there. You know, so it was all external. But maybe
So
my person has
yeah,
informed
optical
me
fiber
wrong.
image design. A third point that, as you said, the BharatNet issue for the rural area and all those things. We do have a policy for the cities also for connecting actually the greenfield area and also the brownfield area. Greenfield area is already mandatory. You know, the Urban Development Ministry has come up with the NDMC in the Delhi to be a mandatory for having a 4 pair of optical fibers to be inside the house. Without that, like electricity or water or sewer line, the clearance will not be given. And the TRI is also coming with a consultation paper for all those things. So we do have that. But let me see how much the practicality will be coming over.
I'm saying all cities must adopt. If some cities,
Some
this is
cities
a
started
good
coming,
practice,
yeah. Right.
then
Yeah.
let it be adopted.
So let's start from this point only. I mean, there is something over there. So that's and without infrastructure, all the things naturally will come. It's like a cart without a horse. You can have a beautiful cart, but unless there is a horse like a broadband, nothing will move out. You know, that's my comment. Thank you very much.
So just to introduce him, he's Anuj Kumar Srivastava. He used to be the ED of MTNL in Delhi. Yeah. So we are fortunate to have a lot of academicians.
So thank you, ma'am, for a great session. Just one small point before I say what I want to say. It's said that Pune has been a smart city for more than 200 years. It's just now that the government has realized. So one essential difference you will see in conferences that you attend in Pune is that people won't ask you questions. They will give you answers without asking any questions. Let me contribute to one answer, you made a very beautiful point about open architectures. And even if you look at multiple policy documents that come out from the government, take for example DigiLocker, take any initiative, and government today has recognized that public-private partnership is inevitable and the way forward. So if at multiple fora, except for solutions that require enforcement that is backed by law, for example, violations, wherever it relates to utilities. You gave a very beautiful example about railways or, the BRTS. If we had this kind of a data in the form of a service-oriented architecture model, there were enough incentives for private players to have better applications which would provide the solutions. So what I feel missing here is today a push towards open architectures, open availability of data, and if we push this and subtly encourage people to open up with applications, it's rather than the government spending its energies on developing applications, let the end experience come from users. Probably that is not the model, but one of the approaches that will provide for a lot of solutions.
Icing on the cake. I think he's been putting up his hand. It's, I should.
Yeah, ma'am. All due respect to academics, but I see necessity.
I seem to have stirred a hornet's nest by being an academic.
I see necessity for security and continuity in the smart city framework. Yeah. We see necessity for security and continuity of services. When you talk about smart cities, necessarily it's a service providing mechanism, it's a framework. So security and continuity has to be there.
Sure.
The second point key when you talk about the data. Now data, when we think about smart city as a citizen, if I see, I no longer want to type URL, either in English or in any local language. It would be all touch and sensor kind of things. So I don't know how it would value add smart cities when we talk about URL and into local language.
It's, yeah. So no, my point is only
and
very
the
simple.
third point regarding BRTS, I have a role to play in that. I'll take it offline.
Okay.
We'll discuss.
So, yeah. So my point is not three things, that you said: security and continuity. I mean, absolutely no issues. You cannot compromise on that. I haven't talked of the security aspect because I'm still talking about the framework which the government needs to adopt for policy decisions. And I'm not saying there should, it's okay not to have security. You have to have, this is citizen data. I mean, you have to comply with their expectations and your own expectations about how to give service. And you can't have, floods because there were floods or there was fire and therefore the computers got burnt out. You have to have some mechanism for disaster management. So all that I'm taking as a given. The second point that you made about, yes, it should be sensor based and I don't have to type in, yes, hopefully, yes, we should come to that. But at least when we are not there, the simple thing, and there's no technology issue about it, as you said rightly, that it could just be done with, but if we have the mindset to do it, the BRT, and I'm very happy with the BRTS in Ahmedabad. It is the information about BRTS on the government website that is of concern. See, they have this GPS enabled systems and all that, and they work beautifully. I wish they were able to use that information on the website. That's all. And I agree with everything you said. So please don't say despite your being. Yes.
I think we are very lucky to have both the sides of these things, and I want to put up a suggestion now. I'm from Mumbai, so I can't give answers, but I can make some suggestions. See that, we have a very unique case in this country. We have so many mobiles, but only about 20% of them want data. We are looking at only typing and solving this. Yeah. Why don't we have a voice-enabled service happen there? Because voice is still cheap in India. Yeah. People are not literate, and you make a mistake in typing, you put uppercase, lowercase, your entire thing becomes infructuous, you keep on going back. If you're going smart, why don't we jump from, like what Mr. Modi said, more governance, less government? Can we say more computerization, less computers? Yeah. Can we say more automation, but voice-guided, not technology-driven? If that becomes possible, because you don't need authentication, you want to find out about a bus that goes from somewhere to here. If the system can become voice prompted on this side, then probably you answer a lot of questions on that, make it very cheap and easy for people to handle. Yeah.
My question is to Siddhesh. How are we addressing security in all this smart city project?
Whole journey of this smart city, how we can best leverage the companies who can play a significant role as a CSR. I am giving an example. We are from automobile industry. Do you know how many of your cars in Pune are driven by an unlicensed driver? So it jolly well it can be done, because the license renewal, if a car cannot start with a valid license, if I put an IDM machine in my car, a small technology which will just validate his license renewal or validity.
I get the question. Can I answer that? In a Tesla, it's probably possible even today, but besides the point, in Pune, we don't want to wear helmets no matter what the government does, right? So the point is, you start saying tomorrow you can't drive without a license, I'm sure we will argue about it. We will argue about the need to carry licenses. Right now, I'm not carrying my license. I need to take Hemant's car out. Now I can't drive Hemant's car. Anyway, so I don't make policies, but yeah, technically doable. How much we want to push it is a different issue. But I think it's even more simpler. You not driving without a license, uske pehle, when you are on the footpath, I can fine you. When you are not driving with a helmet, I can fine you. If you don't wear seat belts, I can fine you. So we have 20,000 things to do.
There's just one point. It is not only addressing the illegal driving.
Agreed.
It is also can prevent the cars
with you.
Stolen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. We should do it. I'm just trying to answer, so ma'am, your question on what are we doing with security. Nothing too much right now. Frankly, we need to, and there are examples where people are, and I was coming to the golden record of getting people's activities together. It's good and it's very bad also. We talked yesterday about Nigerian fraud as even today, even though we know it, I have heard of people who have actually actually transferred lakhs of rupees to this account, and educated people doing it even today.
75 lakhs is what she said.
So I'm not talking about, uneducated people. Educated people transferring lakhs of rupees in Pune, that has happened. But it's even more, it's actually more scarier, because identity theft, like you mentioned, we don't even know what it is. We have no clue what can happen if somebody grabs our identity today. And to give an example, if you go to, if you try and break into my HDFC account, or whichever account, and they ask this security questions, which is public knowledge. I mean, if you ask me, what is your dog's name? What is, I mean, it's all there on Twitter, right? I mean, so if somebody wanted to break and steal identity today, and we have no clue what it can do, no, we are not addressing that. That's why I said the will and the vision. And by the way, when I say I mean, I don't speak for the city, I don't speak for the commissioner, but I'm just saying we can do a lot of things. And I think we
No, I think, no, so the point, yeah, we should be, security and privacy are two concerns, and the Aadhaar bill was stalled due to privacy concerns, not because of technological difficulties. The other point that some person made about the driving license and so on, very important point. But tell me, shouldn't we first be seeing that people who get licenses are actually getting valid licenses? Today, where studies have been done to show how much illegality is, even though we have so much computerization, but there's no computerization in actually when people do the test. And to me, that is the biggest thing,